Hi guys, and welcome back to another video that had absolutely no reason to be made other than I had the idea, so I'm gonna make it. Is it a good idea? Who knows? But I had the idea, so it has to be done. Do you see this lens? This is the Canon FD 50mm f1.4 lens. We also have the Tokina RMC 28mm f2.8 lens. Both of these lenses are around 45 years old. I couldn't find an exact number for this other than it was popular in the 70s and 80s, whatever that means. This one I think was released in 1971, but the lens cap I have indicates that my model was probably built somewhere around 1980. The bird I had as a prop sitting right there, it left. I'm kind of pissed. Regardless, both of these lenses were built, bought and used for film photography here on my grandpa's old Canon AE-1. But we're not doing film photography today. Although I'm really surprised by how nice this location looks. I do want to come here to do some photography as well, but today it's video time. So let's get this off here and let's turn this into a cinematic video lens. I get this looks kind of goofy, but let me just throw it on the camera and show you. This is kind of an absurd experience. I mean, these lenses were built way before YouTube videos were even like a concept. Well, I wouldn't know because I wasn't born. Funny story though, my grandpa used this exact lens and the exact Canon AE-1 I just showed you to take pictures of my parents when they started dating way before I was even born. They showed me some of those pictures and it's crazy to think about that those pictures were taken on this lens and now I'm using it to shitpost on YouTube. There's a deep message in there somewhere, I'm sure. Also, I hope like I was sharp. I don't know. Now at some point, hello, that's not. Well, so here now being filmed on the Canon 50mm, and well, why am I doing any of this? So this video has been in the works for a long time. I've been teasing that I've been working on this video for months now, actually since Christmas, which is when I got the adapter that I'm using to put this lens onto my Sony ZV-E10 as a Christmas gift. And since then I've been wanting to make a video about this, but I just kind of struggled to find a topic for the video. You see, I could just go out and go on one of my normal photo walks, do some photography with it and talk about the lens, but I tried that. Okay guys, let's talk real quick. So I just came back from a little trip with some of my family and I just filmed some quick clips with this camera for you. Didn't want to film an entire video today, but I wanted to get some pictures for my next upcoming video. So I brought these two lenses with the adapter to be used on my Sony ZV-E10 to do some digital photography with those lenses, and as you can see, they are not on the camera anymore because I wasn't really enjoying my experience with those cameras, and to be fair, I was kind of dumb. I forgot my neck strap, so I hold the camera the entire time, so that already brought down my mood a good bit. I'm looking at the pictures right now and I mean, they didn't come out bad, but they look pretty much exactly the same as what I would get with this lens. And of course it was a different thing with this 80-200mm lens. I already made a video about that, and as you can see, this lens only goes up to 70mm and this one 80-200, which now makes this lens with this adapter the only lens I really have to reach this kind of focal length with digital photography. And I already made a video of me using this lens up in the mountains to get some pictures I was previously never able to get because I just didn't have the reach with my digital camera, which is great. Now with both of these lenses, well, This one can cover the exact same focal length, and it has even more different ones to offer. On top of that, it's a zoom lens and it has autofocus if I do want that, which, to be fair, already having focus peaking now with a digital camera with these lenses makes them so much more fun to use. I always kind of complain about the focusing on the Canon AE-1. But yeah, most of what I was shooting with these lenses today was just my normal landscape shots at like f11, and really there is nothing really different from this lens to this lens in this type of photography. And of course I could now go into the files, pixel peep, and see which of these lenses is sharper and which one does this better, which one does this better, but I don't care. I'm happy with the sharpness that this lens gives me, and I don't want to use this lens for more sharpness. I don't need that. What I need is some type of photography that these lenses are going to open up for me that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do, like this one does. But so far I just haven't really found anything, so I don't know how long it's going to take me to find something to make this video about that I'm working on. I don't know. So I started thinking about what can these lenses do that my other ones can't, and for this 50mm it's again pretty easy. It has the brightest aperture out of all lenses I now own for this camera. What does that mean? Okay, this kind of background blur you get in the background when shooting with a wide open aperture, and that's pretty much the only feature a lens has to have to be considered good on social media. So let's use it. But for what? For most of my photography you really want the entire image to be sharp. You don't want any blurry parts. But the type of photography you usually want to have bokeh for is portraits. Now that sounds suspiciously like something that would include other people, and I don't really vibe with that, so I grabbed the most professional model I know to do a portrait shoot. Sitz, Anuk, sitz. Anuk, Anuk. So I'm actually pretty happy with how all of that turned out. The pictures I think turned out great. Really happy with them. Forgot to turn the screen towards me. The background is nice and blurry, so you can focus on what's really important, which is also kind of convenient because I just shot those in my parents' backyard, and at this time of year there's nothing back there other than dead plants and tarps, so you're not missing anything. Pretty good that you can't see anything of that actually. So I did struggle to get those images sharp, of course, with a super thin depth of field, but with a bit of a more well-behaved model that knows how to sit still, that probably wouldn't be a problem. Now, in some parts I actually think to me this blur is almost a bit extreme, because in and of itself at some points turns into some sort of distraction. Not really sure yet, but I'm gonna experiment with it some more, and then definitely the next time I do an actual portrait photo shoot, I do want to bring this lens and try it out. But the problem with that is I've done maybe three portrait shoots so far. So I don't do them a lot really. So if I waited for the next yearly portrait shoot that I do, this video wouldn't be out until 2028, when I will actually have enough pictures. So let's find something else. You know, funny little lore update about this spot. I actually have been here before. I didn't fully remember it, but about, I want to say more than 2 years ago, I actually came to pretty much this exact spot, and I filmed a video that was for a different channel back then, and that was before the Scarecrow channel even existed. But that video never was released because it sucked. Filmed it on my old Samsung phone. It was alright, but not too great. Wir sind in einem Wald. Film mal die Tiere, hier sind Tiere einfach, fucking Tiere. Und hier sind noch überall Leute, die mich gerade sehen, wie ich den cringesten Shit auf der Welt mache.
Ja, Zoom geht nicht.
Ja, Zoom geht nicht in dem Objektiv, aber dann kannst du so nah rankommen, wie du willst, weil dann hört man mich auch, das ist gut. Weil wir haben ja leider ein bisschen eine Straße drin. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like the plot of the video was so bad that I'm not even gonna tell you what it was about. And I didn't actually know that it was here, but when I was looking for nice locations for this video, I remember that I saw a lake around this here somewhere. So I looked for the lake, I found this, and I came here to film. And I'm very happy with this location so far. And I saw this little house back there, and do you even see me? And I remember that that's basically exactly where I filmed that other video. So kind of poetic that back then I came here to film, and the video was so bad that I never released it, and now I'm here with way better equipment and hopefully more skill, and hopefully to make a video that you will actually get to see. Let's hope that this turns out good enough for me to release. But yeah, It was somewhere back there where the trees are, and well, I'm gonna walk around there anyway, so I might actually find the exact spot where I filmed that video and kind of come full circle with it. That would be kind of cool. By the way, we switched to the Tokina 28mm right now. I usually just prefer filming my videos with a wider angle lens. For one, so I can be closer to the camera, can see the screen on the camera, and can just have a bit more control. And I also just like the wider frame, so switching to the 28mm right now. So you may have noticed that this is actually my second time trying to film this video. Well, actually the third. And the first time it started to rain, so I couldn't film. Second time I wanted to film the video after coming home from work, but I got off work late, didn't quite make it, didn't have enough sunlight. And so I started filming the video, but I realized there wasn't enough light for filming the video. So what I decided to do instead was just to use the camera and the Canon 50mm just for some more photography, take some more pictures with it. I also made a video right then telling you about this plane, but with the manual focus so hard, I can't really show that to you guys. Anyways, let's go to that. And off we go. I have to say though, having focus peaking on this lens is very nice. And this combo just, sometimes I just feel like it feels unbalanced, you know? Like having this lens with the aperturing, the manual focus and all of this, and then using this little thing here to adjust my shutter speed, overshooting the shutter speed I want half of the time because it's hell. I am kind of glad that I didn't film the video today yet, because originally what kind of the script for today was, what I was going to say today was kind of like, when I bought this adapter, I expected to be using these lenses for photography, because that's what they were built for, really. That's what they're intended to be used for, and that's what I expected to be doing with them. Photography in the same way I always do, just on a digital body instead of the film camera. But I don't know. But then when I was trying to film that, I would just kind of struggle to really find a way to incorporate those lenses into my photography, because for a lot of what I usually photograph, it doesn't make sense to be using them. I only get like the downsides of using these lenses, of them being older and prime lenses with manual focus only, which I guess some of you, I know some people prefer that. I don't for digital photography, but oftentimes I just get those downsides without any benefit, without any feeling of, oh, that's a picture that I couldn't have gotten with any of my other lenses, so that's a picture where you can see the character of the lens. But then today, when I started shooting today, still I had the same feeling. You know, a lot of pictures I could have taken just like that with a different lens. But then there was some of those cool flowers, and I opened the aperture up all the way. I may have even overdone it a bit. I'm gonna have to look at the pictures later on my computer. May be a bit too much, but I did that, and they kind of look cool. Like and I can't shake the feeling like there is some place for those lenses in my photography that they can fill that no other lens that I own right now could. Something that they can help me expand into different types of photography that I never tried before, you know. And I tried those kind of pictures of flowers with a wide open aperture with my Tamron lens before. They look decent, but different, and I even think those might be better. Again, that's not something that I do often, not something that makes me feel like those lenses are going to be something I'm going to use often for photography, but I'm kind of glad that I took those pictures today, because again, they show me that there is some potential there, that maybe I will be able to get some great pictures with these lenses on my digital body. Well, I'm pretty sure I found the exact spot I filmed that other video on. I'm gonna have to go back and see if I still have any of that video material. It would be kind of cool to see the comparison, but I had a lot of a wider lens back then with my smartphone, so kind of hard to fit all this on that camera, while I still can't help to kind of hold on to the feeling that there is some sort of photography that I will be doing with those lenses sometime, and that there is some sort of genre or no style of photography that these lenses can open up for me that I wasn't able to do so far, especially the 50mm, with it being the brightest aperture lens I own for this camera now. You know, I still feel like there's something there that I still have to discover. But so far, I mean, I've owned the adapter for months now, and really the amount of pictures I've taken with it and with those lenses on my digital body is very small, and by far not enough to make a video about. So I was still continuing to think, you know, what am I going to do with those lenses? And then someday I wanted to start filming a video about why I make English videos, while English is very obviously not my first language. And you know, that video, I was going to film it just in some random woods, pretty much like today, and just talking to the camera. It's the style of video I like making. It's what I think looks best as well. But at the end of the day, the location I went to wasn't like too crazy, and it's something that I've now done pretty often, you know, filming with the exact same camera and lens in pretty much the same, or at least a similar looking location. It wasn't too exciting. And then I thought, well, I might as well just throw these lenses, mainly the 28mm back then as well, onto my camera and just film with that. Maybe that's just gonna make it a bit more interesting, a bit more fun for me. And well, it did. Welcome back to your favorite YouTube series, which is me making things harder for myself for no reason whatsoever. Which is your fan favorite YouTube series where I refuse to use the expensive and good camera gear that I've spent up for many years. Instead, using gear that's way older and way worse. Because and in today's installment, and you may recognize this location, we will film probably the last YouTube video you've seen, or 2 videos ago, I don't know, with my old lenses here. Okay, so I just got done filming the first few scenes, and just a little like in between feedback. Those of you who know a bit more about like camera stuff and that are gonna know the 180-degree rule, which for me would mean that I would have to film at shutter speed 1/50th to get the most realistic motion blur in my videos. I can't really do that today because, as you see, I don't own any ND filters for these lenses. Actually, they do have filter threads, so I could buy one. And let's see how these videos turn out. Maybe I like them so much that I will do it. But so far it's going, I feel like it's going pretty decent. I have, as you can see, focus peaking on, and as I'm filming on a very closed aperture, it's pretty easy to get it in focus. Obviously, I have to make sure that I'm somewhere in this zone that is sharp, but yes, you can see it's really most of the image, so it's going to be hard not to be sharp. Another little update while I'm filming. I just noticed one big shortcoming of these lenses that I already kind of noticed as I was trying to use them for photography, but I wasn't like fully sure. But now I am, because if I just take this camera right here with this frame I have, focus please, well, I'm just gonna show the actual screen, and I just turn it a little bit in this direction, you see the absolutely insane reflections that you get in this lens. You have to be, well, I don't know if you could attach a lens to this. It doesn't really look like it, other than maybe as a filter. Or maybe some sort of filter could help there, but wow, you have to be really careful that there's not like some crazy reflections that you're getting. Well, that's gonna be a problem now with the frame, because I wanted to have the camera turned into this direction and have it capture this stump on which I was going to sit. But well, as you can see, you can't see anything. That's gonna be a problem. Well, so while I'm pretty happy with how that video turned out visually, it wasn't perfect, mainly because I just didn't own an ND filter for that lens, which really, for making video, or at least making the style of video I like to make, you really need one. And so I didn't really have that much room to play with my camera settings without overexposing the image. So there wasn't too much creative choice I had. I'm saying that while I'm also filming at f11, everything sharp, pretty much the exact same. But I actually like that style of video. I really like the visuals, and it's something I don't do often, that pretty much the entire image is sharp, and it's also sharp the entire time, because it's a manual focus lens and the focus doesn't change at all while I'm filming. It's actually pretty like a style that I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually liked it in that video. The fact that you can still kind of see the trees way back. But most importantly, really, I just enjoyed the experience. So much so that I'm not only making this video about how I use that lens to film that video, but I'm also filming this entire video on my grandpa's old lenses. And there is some downsides, especially with this 28mm. Lens flare is bad. While I did have one shot where it was kind of interesting, you kind of saw like the character of the lens, which is what I was looking for, in a little, I think ghost is what it's called, a little light reflection, a little lens flare in the edge of the image, which looked different than what I usually get, because this, I think it's because of the aperture plates, but basically this lens is just built differently than the other lenses I own, so the lens flare just looks different. Luckily on the 50mm it's not that bad. I don't like how the lens flare looks there, but at least it doesn't cover the entire image. On this one it does. Just waiting for the wind to calm down. You're standing crooked also. While we're on the topic, here's the camera I'm making my next video about, and I'm just carrying it around with me right now all the time, shooting pictures with it, and I will soon make a video about my experience using this camera. And if you want to see the picture I just took of you guys, you have to tune in for that video coming up next. So this camera and lens combo almost fits kind of unbalanced to me, and I think that's the reason why I'm not really liking it for photography. One reason why I thought I might enjoy it is because if you spend any time on camera YouTube, what you will see a lot is talk about restricting your gear, you know, only one camera, only one prime lens. There seems to be kind of a trend on camera social media right now and on photography social media of artificially restricting your gear, you know, only bringing one camera, one prime lens, and having that be the most restricted camera you can possibly find, if possible a Leica. That will make you a better photographer, is what photography YouTube will have you believe. And I thought maybe I would like those lenses for that reason. I would be doing digital photography but more restricted, which will make me a better photographer, and I found that to be not true at all, really. And that's weird because while I kind of discovered that I'm a big opponent of this artificially restricting your gear mentality that gets preached in digital photography, I still do film photography. I use those exact lenses for photography a lot on a camera body that is also, well, less capable than this camera in terms of, you know, being older and this. But there's a difference, you know. If I choose to take a film camera on a shoot, then that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that more restricted, more manual experience. If I'm taking a digital camera, I'm looking for that something different. I'm looking for the camera not to be in the way. I'm looking for the camera to be easy to use. I'm looking for there not to be any challenge in using the camera. I'm looking for the camera to be as little in the way as possible and to just get the shots I wanted to get as quickly and as easily as possible, so I can focus on the pictures. And so in that aspect, for photography, using the autofocus zoom lens just makes more sense for me for digital photography. And if I want to have that feeling of being more manual, being more restricted, then I'm using a film camera with those lenses. And mixing those two things together feels kind of unbalanced. To be fair though, maybe that's also just because of the camera this is, which with it being the Sony ZV-E10, you know, while it can output good pictures, I wouldn't say this camera is made for photography, really. It's more made for video, I would say, because in terms of photography, the control structure, the dials and how you put in the settings and also the lack of a viewfinder really isn't too great. So just the camera body doesn't strike me as a body that was really designed for making videos. There was just some big piece of moss flying on my camera, okay. So maybe that's the reason why I'm enjoying making videos with this camera and these lenses more, because the camera itself is just made for video. That may also be the case. And maybe with a different digital camera that was more geared towards photography, I would be enjoying it more. But I mean, I want to have my next camera upgrade to be something like a Fujifilm X-T5, I think is the newest one. That kind of body that mirrors the kind of experience I get with my film cameras, but well, that camera costs like what, 3 times as much as this one did, so that's way in the future, so that's not happening anytime soon. So for now, let's just shoot video. With video, I have to set up my camera on the tripod anyways, I have to set up the lens anyways, I have to, you know, I usually shoot with autofocus, but well, the step from just manually focusing on this bench real quick and then sitting down here isn't too long. So I'm really not losing too much time by using these lenses. And also, I still use zoom lenses for my video, but once I've set the camera up, I don't change the zoom at all anyways, so I may as well use prime lenses. I'm not losing anything. Even with these lenses being more restrictive than what I usually use, I'm not actually feeling restricted because I set the camera up once and then I sit down here and I talk for multiple minutes, so it doesn't really slow me down. When I used this camera for photography, I just kept on thinking about how I would probably just prefer using these lenses on a film camera for film photography and how that would fit the experience I'm trying to get better. And with this combo, I don't really have something like that that I could compare it to. So it feels like more of a new and exciting thing. That's another great aspect. I mean, if doing this motivates me to go out and shoot, then that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, how many more videos am I going to shoot with these lenses? I don't know. I think I'm starting to get a bit of a taste of what these lenses are good for, what kind of video these lenses are really good for shooting, and I think there for sure will be more videos that I'm gonna shoot with these lenses. How many more? I don't know. But yeah, what I told you about is just kind of what I've been noticing lately of why I kind of even prefer using these lenses for shooting video over shooting photography on a digital camera. Of course, on the Canon AE-1, entirely different thing. I love those lenses on there. You guys return viewers will know. Hey, surprise, I'm actually making a proper outro for once. So here you will see the video I made on the Canon 80-200mm lens. Also another lens that I used on the Canon AE-1 that was built for the Canon AE-1 or for the type of camera, and that I then adapted to this camera to get some great pictures up in the mountains that was never able to get before because I didn't own a lens that would be able to do it. So check that out. And then of course down here is going to be the entire video I shot on these lenses as well, if you're interested in that and if you haven't seen it yet. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Click on either of these videos, whichever one interests you most, and also subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the video I will make about this little film camera right here.